Hello and welcome back to the top 85 games for the BBC Micro Video Countdown. In at number 58 is a game called Maelstrom. Now this game came with the Disc User magazine, which viewers of this video series will be familiar with by now, a magazine that was produced in the 1980s, which came with a cover disc. So rather than having to type in the programs that came in the magazine, the disc had them ready to go. And Maelstrom came in issue 14 of the magazine in 1988. I'm not 100% sure if this screen cover here is actually the edition of the magazine that it came with, but this one's from August 1988, so close enough. And Maelstrom was developed by a chap called Matthew Fifield. So let's take a look. All right, let's load it up. So Maelstrom is a shoot 'em up, basically. So you are a spaceship that is attempting to defend some sort of planet, perhaps, from an oncoming onslaught of space aliens. So standard sort of keys here: ZX, star, and question mark for the left, right, up, down, and space to fire. So let's have a look. All right, game on. Here we go. So first impressions. Responds really well. It's very fast, which I always appreciate in a retro game. Nothing worse than sticky keys where you can't really get on with the game. Oh, there we go. Now those bullets. Well, that proved my point. The bullets from the previous wave carry over into the next wave, so you do have to be careful not to basically count your luck that you've defeated them. You need to make sure that you avoid any stray bullets at the end there. Now, as you'll notice, if you successfully manage to kill a few of them before they leave the screen, when they return, they are at the same number. But if you lose a life, they come back at full strength. So that does give an extra challenge to the game, because it does mean that you can't. Unfortunately, your lives don't really sort of do much more than keep you on this particular wave. Any progress that you make within the wave is sadly lost if you lose your life, which, as you've just seen me do spectacularly multiple times there. So yes, it does obviously have a slight. I don't know if it's a feature of the game or not. I mean, I personally find it a little bit frustrating, because it would be nice to feel that what I've done before I lost my life was actually worth something. And it does obviously make it that much more difficult to get to the next wave. But hopefully we can just about manage it. Oh, we're down to 2 now. Oh, I only had 1 left, but that was my last life, sadly. So game over. So we'll have to start that again. Now I do like the graphics, I have to say. I think they're really good. I mean, it's obviously only the 2 colours, blue and yellow, but I think they use them really effectively. It has a sort of, I don't know, almost a Spectrum feel to it. The graphics are quite Spectrum-y, I would say. Not the sort of typical Beeb graphics, which I think adds to the sort of uniqueness of it as a game. And as I was saying at the intro, obviously it came with a cover disc, so this wasn't a commercial release. Basically, if you had the magazine, this was yours to play. Which again, I'm always a big fan of cover disc games. You'll have probably worked that out from seeing some of my other videos. That I think that they can hold their own against some of the commercial releases. I've certainly not held it against a game if it came on a cover disc or even a listing. If I think the game is good, then well, that was special. I managed to crash into the aliens on arrival. Yes, I think that it's still worthy of its place, regardless of what mode it was published in. And yeah, I mean, as a cover disc game, I think it's really decent. These are sort of interesting aliens. It looks sort of like a crochet pattern. Oh no! I was just about to say I was doing quite well there, but not the case. Now yeah, it's definitely a challenging one. You can move, as you say, you can move left and right as well as up and down, and sometimes that helps you, but sometimes it can mean that you sort of lose track of where you are and end up colliding with a stray bullet. I don't know if there's any kind of time. Ooh, I don't know if there's any kind of. Oh no! So you see, I only had 1 left to go there, but because I lost a life, they come back at full strength again, which, as I say, that is a little bit of a flaw in the game, in my opinion. I do feel like that's it's a little harsh to feel that having only had 1 alien left to kill, the game sadly resets me to the beginning again. I mean, at least I suppose at least you don't have to kill them all within one sort of screen entry. You know, at least after they've left the screen, you still get a bit of a chance. Oh, there we go. Oh no! Oh, would you believe it? They came in just at the position that my spacecraft was in. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, we've got one. Oh no! Oh, now that really is quite cheeky, isn't it? I mean, you have to move up immediately, otherwise your life is gone. Oh, game over. Let's try that again. I feel that we can do a bit better than that. I really like these first wave aliens actually. They're sort of weird, sort of chubby robots. I think they're quite fun. So look like a sort of 1960s kind of feel to it. Whoa! Yeah, that's the thing. The game responds very well, and it is very fast. But sometimes that can be to your disadvantage if you're a bit too heavy on the up key, and you end up zooming into a bullet. Oh, okay, hang on. Oh no! Oh, that means they're going to all come back again. Look at that. So on the first wave, you sort of feel like you almost want to restart the game immediately, because if you lose your first life, or indeed any lives on the first wave, it doesn't really feel like you've made any progress at all, but you have lost a life. There you go. That's Maelstrom for you. So yeah, sound effects wise, I think it holds its own. Very good sort of sound effects. I mean, obviously no background music, but that's not that common in Beeb games, as Beeb fans will know. There weren't many games that had background music to complement the game as well. But I think that oh dear. But the sound effects, I think, are pretty nifty. It's another game that exploits the white noise, obviously, for the spaceship crashing. Star Wars fans, I don't know if you agree, but I think that the spaceship looks rather a lot like Boba Fett's. I can't remember what the name of his spaceship is. I'm not sure if it's ever actually named in the series, but anyway, the spaceship that he has, which I think we see in Empire Strikes Back, I think it looks quite a lot like that. I'm not sure if the game designer was inspired. Oh dear, didn't do very well that time, did we? Okay, yes, that was not such a good outing. So let's see whether we can do any better this time. Yeah, so I mean, as I was saying before, about the graphics as well. I mean, the fact that it only utilizes the two colors, I don't think is a bad thing. I mean, I think it kind of gives it quite a clean look. Obviously, the only going with the two colors frees up quite a bit of memory, I suspect, for the game, which was obviously an important feature. Given that this came on a cover disc with a bunch of other utilities and software, they would have needed to be, careful not to use up too much of the disk space as well as the actual memory requirements of the game. So I've just noticed you can actually shoot the bullets that the aliens fire at you as well, which is quite handy. Oh, come on, here we go. I don't know why, but I find these ones in particular quite difficult. The ones that come after them, the little crochet pattern ones, I don't think are so difficult. But these ones are these sort of triangular menaces. I find them quite a challenge. I don't think I can get. Well, there we go. Oh no! Oh dear, once again, look, I only had one or two of them left, but it's not done me any favours losing that life. Well, not that losing lives ever does one a favour, I suppose, in a computer game, but there you are. Obviously, in terms of sort of utility of screen space, there's quite a lot of space given at the top to the score and even the sort of game title. But I think he's done a good job with the sort of illustration of the game title. So a lot of games just have it written there at the top, but I like the way it's been picked out there with a little sort of lightning bolt and the sort of stars and sort of patterns on it. I think it's good. It's a good touch. It does use up a lot of the screen, but I won't hold that as a major criticism. Oh dear, lost a life on the first wave. That's not so good, is it? And again. Oh dear, I don't think we're going to make a lot of progress this time around. Yeah. So yes, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on Maelstrom. How many of you have played it before? Whether you had this particular disc user magazine and were able to get Maelstrom for yourselves at the time. I think I had it from a family friend. think it was a subscription that one of my, might even have been my godfather thinking about it. I think he had a subscription to this magazine, possibly, and that's how I ended up getting hold of the game myself. Um, and it wasn't until I did the research for the video that I realised it actually was a cover game. I cover this game. I actually thought it was a commercial release because it feels very much like a, you know, sort of arcade style game that would have been. Oh dear, oh dear. I seem to have done worse with with every subsequent round that I've played. Okay, well we'll give it another try anyway. Too much talking, that's my problem. Once I get going on the commentary front, I find that my abilities definitely take a nosedive. But I have to say, the more I play it, the more that sort of feature, if we can call it that, of losing all your progress when you lose a life, that really is quite annoying. It's not as bad as some games. I mean, there are other games out there that, you know, level-based games, if you like, or challenge games where losing a life puts you right back at the beginning, and that really is a pain. The other thing as well with Maelstrom is you don't have any kind of health bar. It's, you know, one hit and you're toast, which I suppose is fair because it's the same for the aliens as well. I mean, they don't have any health bars. It's one hit and they're dead too. So I guess it's an equal game, but there's a lot more of them than there are of me. I feel like I ought to have had some sort of shields or something like that to, you know, to keep me going. Gosh, really am doing terribly here. I'm glad I had a good first run. That's all I'm going to say, because at least that gave you the opportunity to see what some of the future waves look like. Okay, I think we'll give it one more bash, and then I might have to call it a day there because I'm not really doing very well at the moment. Certainly doesn't help when I lose lives on the first wave, because that really does do for me in future. Oh, come on. Yep, hang on. Ooh, this robot is proving quite a beast. I don't want to be down the bottom of the screen. Ugh. Yeah, being at the bottom of the screen for these ones isn't so good. This one's the one where you want to be sort of towards the top. I think that's another good feature of the game, actually, that it's not just a sort of simplistic repeat of each wave with just different sprites. You know, you actually do have different battle formations, which, if I was better at the game, or was paying a bit more attention, shall we say, you might actually then have the opportunity to work out, okay, with this wave I need to be up here versus another wave where perhaps it helps to be a bit further down. I'm going to sit up here, I think, because that gives me a chance to get them. I was going to say gives me a chance to get them on the way out, but that didn't quite work out that time. Okay, let's see. Are we going to do any better this time? Come on. Ooh. Ooh, there we go. Actually managed to get to the crochets. Still only got one life though. It's not too optimistic. But these ones do tend to be a little bit easier than the previous round. Oh, come on, I need to stay up the top for this, because I don't want to get bazookaed immediately. Ooh. Come on. No, go up, go up. Oh. Oh my goodness, these ones come really fast. Oh dear. Well, at least we made it to that fourth wave that time round. That was at least a good one to end on. So yes, it's game over, as the game says there. So I think we'll call it a day there. But hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you've enjoyed exploring Maelstrom with me. Do go ahead and get a copy. It's available on the Complete BBC Games archive website if you've never played it before. Would love to hear from you if you have played it before, and hear what your thoughts are. Always interested to know both what people think of the game and also their opinions on how I've rated it and where I've brought it in the rankings. So anyway, until the next time, I hope you'll join me for the next video, and until then, goodbye.